Greetings, welcome back. And I'm going to do a little, talk a little economics. I'm not an expert, but I'm incredibly interested in economics. We're going to start with, and we're also going to, well, I'm going to learn something today, and hopefully maybe you'll learn something with me, or maybe you didn't know this, maybe you already know this. Pie chart of federal spending circulating on the internet is misleading. And I actually did not know this. I've seen this chart a few times, and I was like, oh my God. Again, it's good to have real information. Please bring this up. Yeah, it's good to have the facts, and it's good not to just retweet and repost everything you see on the internet or on Facebook. So if you've seen this pie chart, I'll put it in. I'm going to put this up in this video right here. It shows, military spending is like over 50%, and then, the spending on food stamps is like little tiny sliver, 10%. And, I mean, I don't think that we should be spending as much money as we do on the military, not at all, not even by half, or at all. I don't believe in the military. I don't believe it's necessary anymore. I believe that humans can and should and will grow beyond the need to make weapons and, use them against other people. Do we really need that anymore? I mean, the earth is small and we are fragile. So you saw that graph, and so here's, so what it is that graph was a graph of discretionary spending. But there's also, in our budget, mandatory spending, which is sometimes referred to as entitlements. Spending within this category is determined by a formula, and the big pieces are three familiar programs: Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. This article is from PolitiFact, by the way. I'm going to post it below. For each mandatory program, the amount spent is tied directly to the number of people deemed eligible by age or income level. These programs effectively run on autopilot unless Congress changes the formula, making this type of spending more insulated from lawmakers and the president than discretionary spending. With that background, let's take a look at how the figures in the pie chart compared to a breakdown of fiscal 2015 discretionary spending and the fiscal 2015 total spending, that is, discretionary plus mandatory. And here is the actual chart, what spending actually is. And as you can see, defense is 16.2%. So quite a bit less than the other chart. That is down by half or more than half, quite a bit. So, and then health and Social Security actually make up what the military made in the other graph. So more than 50%. And then you have food and agriculture is 4%, up from the 1% in the other graph. Still a very small sliver of the pie. But compared to health and Social Security, so all those things together are 53, close to 60% of the budget, compared to defense, which is 16%. I still don't care about that. We can get rid of that and spend that on helping people. That would be fine. But still, that graph is way, way different. So, yeah, I just hope you find this interesting. The real, spending. There's also another really interesting site I like to look at once in a while. What is it? It's like the federal budget or federal deficits site. Where is it? National debt of the United States. U.S. national debt clock, real time. I think this is it. Yes, this is great. USDebtClock.org, which just has, if you want to see this government spending in real time, this is incredibly interesting. And our current U.S. national debt is pushing 20 trillion. Very, very close to 20 trillion. In fact, we'll be there in, I don't know, a couple of hours, I think, because it's 19 trillion, 968 billion, 422 million, and we're about to get to 423 million right now as I speak. Bam. So yeah, real soon we're going to be at 20 trillion. That's not good. That's double from when George Bush was left office. So in Obama's 8-year term, we have doubled the deficit from $10 billion to actually more than doubled, because I think when he left it was $9 billion, and now it's almost 20, or 9 trillion, and now it's almost 20 trillion. So I'm going to read another article from Zero Hedge. This is a little older, but I'm going to post the graph from this too, and also post the article in the description box. But this just has, this is a really good article, and the graph is from the St. Louis Fed, so it's not fudge numbers. It's actually real numbers, and from a government agency. I posted this graph a few times in when I was talking to people on Facebook, and they were like, "Where'd you get that?" And Zero Hedge. Oh my God, this article is from Zero Hedge. Oh, they're conspiratorial, and you can't trust them. And now they're on the alt-right fake news site, or fake news list. If you come on, people, think. Not every one of those sites is fake news. Not everything is mainstream media is plenty of fake news, along with the real news. So discernment, grow some today. So we're going to get in this article. These are 9 Zero Hedge charts showing Obama's recovery that angered the Washington Post. As regular readers know, one of our favorite chart packs to show Obama's recovery is the one below. Presented most recently just 2 days ago during Obama. This is from June 2016. Using simple Bloomberg data, summarized recent changes in key economic indicators, including soaring federal debt and government dependency via food stamp use, surging healthcare costs, and social inequality, plunging home ownership, income, labor force participation, and of course, driving it all, none of the president's or Congress's actions, but the Fed's balance sheet. Something even major banks admit is better known as printing money, money that ends up blowing one after another asset bubble, unable to find its way into a broader economy. A stigma that is now gone in a world in which helicopter money is seriously considered by lunatics in power. To be sure, the charts do not in any way imply that Obama started any of these disastrous trends. True, with a few exceptions. They do, however, make it very clear that more than 7 years under President Obama, these same trends have not changed. This means that while Obama may have inherited a bad economy, contrary to the endless propaganda, the economy has only gotten worse. One needs only to go on a very short drive throughout any of the neighborhoods of Obama's native Chicago to get a clear realization of this sad fact. Yep. And if you are not aware, Illinois, the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago are in very, very, very deep economic trouble. They are hanging on by a thread. Then yesterday, we were pleasantly surprised to see that none other than Donald Trump used this very chart to demonstrate a point, namely that Obama's legacy is an absolute disaster. Something we doubt many would disagree with. Here's the thing: is that Trump isn't going to be able to really do anything about this, and not in any major way, unless he's, there's nothing really he's going to be able to do to stave off some kind of economic turmoil, and which, all the signals are flashing red and have been flashing red for a few years. And somehow, some way, we've kept the wheels going and the lights on, and we've kicked the can down the road. We've kept this economy, kind of teetering on the brink, But there are some very deep structural problems going on, and whether Trump addresses that or not, time will tell. I don't know if he, some of the things he's going to do possibly could help on some level. It could also help just kick the can some more down the road. And, but all signs are pointing to the fact that there's going to be a serious depression, a serious stock market collapse. There have been people kind of, screaming this from the sidelines, and citizen journalists, on YouTube and elsewhere, trying to say like, hey, there's a problem. There's serious problems here. And Obama got out the door, like, whoo. I'm sure he knows. I'm sure he knows that this is there's something happening and there's something coming. I mean, the Fed cannot raise the interest rates for fear of absolutely destabilizing our economy. They raised the rate 0.25%, last December, and then they raised just recently another 0.25%. So they raised the interest rates 0.5%. Little tiny baby steps. Ooh, do we do this? But there's more than likely something coming down the pipe, and I'm sure that Trump is going to get all the blame for this. And before you bring out the pitchforks, well, they're already out, but before the pitchforks come for Trump and his terrible economic policy, just try to realize that this has been brewing for a long time. This has been, this is just if you've seen the movie Big Short, there's another, I just watched something, I don't remember what it was, but something with Stephen Cannell, or Steve Carell, that, we haven't really done anything since 2008. All the European banks have basically been teetering since 2008. I mean, they've just been inching along. There's Spain and Greece and Italy are not in good shape. Venezuela is completely fallen apart. Japan has been teetering. I mean, China has been devaluing their yen, or their yuan, excuse me. Yen is Japanese. So, there's all these signs that something is about to come at us, and just giving you something to read, something to look at, something to check out. I urge you to do more investigation on your own if you can. I'm not personally one of those people who's gonna say take all your money out of the system, but I think I'm going to dig up an article for tomorrow about how the very rich, the super rich, the players, the movers and the shakers have been slowly and quietly taking their money out of the stock market. And this has actually been going on for at least a year. So they're getting out while the Dow is hitting 20,000. So that's, an indicator of something. I'm going to go find that article, and I'll bring it back to you tomorrow. Thank you for watching Sensible Goods. Hopefully we are all getting smarter together, and see you next time.